On this topic, I have following the right path to success. On running a race, you can notice that everyone is on their own track. You become disqualified if you move to another person's track. Even if you come first but did not follow your own track, you become disqualified. Your position becomes invalid. This is the race. So while running the race, you are always very careful not to enter your neighbor's lane. This is the same process in the road to success. Sometimes you see people struggle more than others on this road to success because they are not on the right track. If you follow another person's track on this road to success, you are bound to suffer. Most times, people see Mr. A doing well in running a grocery shop. And you see everybody running to start up a grocery shop. All because Mr. A, who is running this grocery shop, is now a very wealthy man. Mr. A has cars. Mr. A has built houses. Mr. A now sprays money anyhow in occasions. So everybody wants to do the business Mr. A is doing. But you, who wants to follow Mr. A to open up a grocery shop because of all this, have you asked yourself if what Mr. A is doing is the right path for you? Do you know that you can enter into that same business and will not make it like Mr. A is making it? That you followed Mr. A does not mean that you are going to make it the way he is making it. Maybe because that is not the right path for you. You just rushed in because you saw that Mr. A has made it, because you saw what Mr. A is doing with that business. First thing you ask yourself, is that the right path for you? That Mr. A is a wealthy man because he is running a grocery shop doesn't mean that when you enter there you become as wealthy as Mr. A. Except if that you can only make it if that is the right path for you. This is the reason why you see people make it more than others when they are on the same business. And then when you enter into this business and you are not making it the way Mr. A did, you now think Mr. A is a ritualist. Mr. A is now using juju on the business. That is when you will hear people say, are we not on the same business? Why is it that he is making this kind of money? That means he is a ritualist, or he is doing some shady business for him to be making it in this business. After all, we are in the same business. So where is he getting all this money from? But let me shock you. I want the same hairstyle as Ogechi. Have you asked yourself, you and Ogechi, do you have the same shape of skull? That the hair fits Ogechi doesn't mean it's going to fit you. Have that at the back of your mind. So this is one of the reasons some people struggle more than others on the road to success. Secondly, every business has its own strategies. That you followed Mr. A to do the business does not mean you know all the strategies. How have you learned about this business that you are going into? Did you think that Mr. A just jumped into the business and made it immediately? No. So let me tell you, some business has ways and strategies to approach it, which you must learn before you can make it in that business. So that you see your neighbor doing something and making money from it, you want to jump in immediately. You should go and learn about that job. You should go and learn about that business before you will be able to make it. This is another reason why people struggle more than others on the path to success. You just rush into the business because you saw people rushing it. Does not mean you will make it. That you entered the road, the path to success, because everyone is on that road, does not mean that all of you are going in the same direction. You can only make it when you know your destination. But when you just rush in that because all the multitudes are on the road, you don't have any direction. You don't have any destination in mind. My dear, you'll struggle on the road. That is how it is for success. Make sure you follow the right path to success. On the other hand, another thing is this. Mr. A, that you followed into the business, might have been in that business for a very long time. Quiet. Nobody knows him. He is nobody. But he has been there. He has built up profits, invested with the profits that will yield more profit for him. He's making a lot of money, not from the same business that you see, but has invested in so many things, and those things are yielding more profit for him. And he comes out in an occasion, he's spraying money. And you who have just started, who have just entered into the business, you want to spray money like Mr. A. You want to compete with Mr. A. And while doing that, you are spraying your capital. At the end of the day, you come back, you can't be able to stand in the business again. Your business has gone down. You can't even move. Your business cannot move anymore. Again, Mr. A might know how to manage money more than you. Mr. A is spreading his profits, and you are spreading your capital. At the end of the day, Mr. A goes back. His business, it doesn't shake. It doesn't shake his business because he did not touch his capital on that day. And you, who wants to show that you belong, you sprayed your capital. Mr. A comes back, continues in business, and you have exhausted all your capital. You can't continue the business. You've been run out of business. The business cannot continue anymore. You can't make it anymore. You can't even do anything because you don't have any capital. The next thing that comes into your mind is someone is after your progress, or your village people is after you, or your neighbors wants you out of this business. They are using some fetish power to push you out of business. Maybe you start looking at your landlord where you're living. Maybe the house you are living in is cursed. It's a very bad house. The landlord is using your destiny. My dear, come off it. Nobody is doing anything to you. You did it to yourself. You are your own problem. Yes, you are your own problem. Endeavor to follow the right path to success. Before you go into any job or any business, ask yourself, is this really what I need? Is this really for me? Try to know the do's and don'ts of the job or business you want to go into. If it's a business, if it's trade, try to learn everything about it before you go into that business. And as a job, you see others do it. Learn everything about this job or the business before you go into it. Master it very well, and then you see yourself on the right path to success. Success doesn't come by magic. It goes through a process. You take it step by step. Do not enter the road to success because you see others are there, or you see that people are following that path. Always, before you enter, know your destination. If you know that your destination, that will tell you if that road you are taking